live. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I work at the American Center Tashkent, and this is our bi-weekly USG Alumni talk program. We want to thank all of you for joining our session today. The live stream is available on our Facebook and YouTube channels. And I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is a UGRAD program alumna, Dilnoza Fayzieva, who studied a bachelor's degree in management at Tashkent Institute of Finance. She is a content and customer support manager at grantlar.uz website. Her interests are personal development, psychology, nutrition, and art. And today she will be talking about food and sports in US universities. Hi, Dilnoza, welcome to our studio, and thank you so much for agreeing being our speaker today.
Thank you for inviting me too. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you. Yeah, and before we get started, I want to make a quick reminder. Please start leaving your questions in the chat boxes, both on Facebook and YouTube, and we will get back to them after the presentation. And I am turning on your presentation and turning it over to you, Dilnoza.
All right. Shall I start now?
Yes, please. Your presentation is on, and you can start.
All right. Thank you for everyone. So in today's session, I'm going to talk about the food and athletics at US universities. So as you can see from the slide, these are the actual photos from the university I was at when I was during the exchange program. So yeah, I'm going to start from the food. Today, I want to focus specifically on food at U.S. university campuses. Actually, so this is actually what U.S. university students eat. The college campus menus are designed specifically to serve the needs of a diverse student body. Because in the US, there are like many students from diverse backgrounds. There are people of different religion, race, ethnicities, and preferences. So they have options for Muslim students with halal meat, and some people are vegan and vegetarian, which is extremely common in the US. So they have options without meat or animal products, and special diets because there are people with allergies. Some people are intolerant to gluten, others can't drink milk. And then beverages. My experience was quite unique when I was in the US because I tasted nut milk the first time there. Then I found out that some people just can't drink milk due to the lactose in it. So people make milk out of the nuts there. I'm mentioning this to introduce to the idea of diversity in the US because they respect the preferences of all people from all different backgrounds, so you can find the food for your own taste there. The university cafeteria at Augsburg included the halal, vegan, vegetarian, special diets as well. Oh yeah, so on campuses there are facilities for food and like dining. My university served three hot meals 3 times a day. They had diet and regular beverages. For example, they had 4 types of milk, nut milk, chocolate nut milk, regular milk, and low fat milk. And then like diet Coke, regular Coke. So basically they really respect preferences of different people. Besides the hot meals served 3 times a day, they have the food available all day, so you can just drop into the cafeteria and eat whatever you want, whenever you want. So they have pizza, they have cereal, salads, ice cream. My campus had its own vending machine. I mean, not vending machine, but ice cream machine, which you could make your own ice cream too. And then we had a meal plan. So basically, you don't buy food at US universities. Students usually pay for their food in the beginning of the semester, for a semester or for a whole year. And then they just slide their ID card to the special machine on campus, and they the foods count down according to their meal plan, so they can actually buy several hundred meals for the semester, and they just don't pay for it anymore. So it's like that. I don't think we have that practice in Uzbekistan. Now, my favorite part about the stereotypes about food in the U.S. versus actual eating habits of college students. Before going to the U.S., all I knew about the U.S. was from the books and the movies. So I thought people would be eating a lot of fast food. They would be like obese. There would be like big fat people like all around. But I was very surprised when I went there because I met the healthiest and fittest people I'd ever met in my entire life in my university campus there. Many students choose to eat healthy, and even though we believe that fast food and like soda, junk food in general are in high consumption in the US, I don't think that's the case, or maybe it was just stereotype and a misconception about the food consumption in the US that, and the reality is people eat way healthier than I thought. So I was just sort of surprised when I went there. Yeah, and college students in the US tend to be healthier and more athletics due to the overall college spirit there. We had many student athletes. Many people went to the gym every single day. I was inspired to go to the gym the first time because about 7 people out of every 10 people I met there, at least 7 people went to the gym. They watched their food. They counted their calories. They would force themselves to eat the greens every day. Actually, they were healthier and more aware of their food intake than I had expected. And the actual catering is really diverse on US campuses, so don't expect to be served only fast food or soda there. Actually, their menus are strategically developed to meet the daily nutrient requirements of a person. Um, yeah, and besides the food, what's different in the US from Uzbekistan is especially athletics. Just for comparison, I'm going to talk about universities in Uzbekistan. Before going to the US, I studied at Westminster International University in Tashkent for 1 year and Tashkent Institute of Finance for 2 years, and I completed the last half year of my college here again after coming back from the US. I can actually compare the three universities, and even though the Westminster University was an international university in Uzbekistan, they didn't really have the college athletics, and I know that many local universities in Uzbekistan don't have college sport teams as well. So it's a common practice here that at universities, colleges, lyceums, and schools, you just go there wearing the school uniform, you study there, and if you ever want to play football, basketball, or volleyball, you have to find time, and your school is not going to encourage or give you money to play that. But that's not the case in the US. Everything was different, and that was my favorite part about my experience there. Because an average university in the US funds at least, average of 20 types of sports there. In the US, it's normal for schools, community colleges, and universities to have their own school athletic teams. So what I'm talking about is in my university, for example, we had fewer than 5,000 students, and several hundred students out of that were playing several types of sports. Football was the most popular one of them, and soccer was the next one. So in the US, they play colleges take sports really seriously. They're actually crazy about it. For example, they have national and regional competitions in football, soccer, volleyball, basketball, hockey, and other track and field and other sports. Actually, the regional competitions are statewide competitions, and once some team wins within their state, they represent their state in the national US rounds, and they have intramural and extramural competitions. So actually, this means each college has men's and women's team in each sport. For example, in my university, I went to Augsburg University in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They had men's soccer and women's soccer. They had men's football, they had women's hockey and men's hockey. So, and our teams competed with other teams from Minneapolis and Minnesota, and these are called extramural competitions. So yeah, another point to mention about the attention to athletics at the higher education level in the US is athletic scholarships. I have personally known several students who played basketball, wrestling, and soccer during high school, and they got full scholarship, funding for education. For they start their studies at Augsburg University for like 4 years. What I'm talking about is just because they played some sports real well, the university was willing to offer them full funding for the entire period duration of their studies. And then the reputation of student athletes was really high in the US. For example, they wear their uniforms, like sit around the tables together, and everyone respected them. So actually, for example, in Uzbekistan, if you study really well, if you won let's say the Zulfia award or something like that, people are going to respect you, right? In the US, student athletes are more popular than the scientist students because of the overall love of the whole nation for sports. Yeah, sports competitions are extremely popular at college level. My friends from men's soccer team used to study like 5 days a week and train like 3 times a week on the field. So they would basically just study, and after studies they would go to the stadium for trainings. So it's like it's a part of their everyday life, which was yeah. When I went to the US, for example, I wasn't really surprised about athletics because I already had experience studying at an international university, and I wasn't shocked by the culture as well because I was actually open-minded and I didn't care much about the difference in people, so I took everything easily. But what actually impressed me was the athletics because I'm personally a lot into sports. I love it, and it was a new idea to me that sports like especially team games, were so popular in the US. And small universities like mine had large stadiums and large halls for basketball, and we had our own hockey arena, for example. So to me, only be about academics, but it should also be about entertainment and personal development. And I believe that a person's personal development depends a lot about the spiritual development, the mental, psychological development, and physical development. So I think it's a great practice in the US to integrate sports into the everyday lives of their students. So sports was actually the number one thing that I loved and valued about the education in the US. Um, each team from each university, from each sport type, had their own mascots, their uniform, their marching bands, which I'm going to show now. Uh, these are the mascots of some universities. Since we don't really have anything like this in Uzbekistan, I'm going to elaborate on that a bit. So for example, during a football game, between two colleges, or let's say between the representative teams of different states. Let's say in whatever game, each team will have their own image of an animal, or it could be a person or whatever. Usually it's an animal that represents their spirit. Augsburg University's mascot was an eagle, and many other universities have their own mascots. As you can see here, um, when the game start before the game starts, so these are actually these mascots are usually worn by real people, just like we have in entertainment events at parks, right? They wear the whole body of the mascot, and then they put on the head, and then they dance with it. So it's actually before everything starts. First, the mascots meet, and then they have their marching bands that play under the music. They show things to each other. So it's like it's a lot of fun before the actual event starts. And there are like thousands of universities in the U.S., and each one has their own mascot. These are the mascots of some universities. Oh yeah, and in the U.S. There are many types of sports played at college campuses, but the most popular one is football. And this is the men's football team of the Augsburg University, which I attended. I didn't know much about football when I went there. To me, football was the, the football in Russian or in Uzbek, right? But when I went to the US, I realized that football, which they talk about when they use the word, is different from the football which we understand. In our country, football is the round ball, right? But this sport is called soccer in the US. And the football that they talk about is the American football. I think we say it Amerikanski football in Russian, I guess. So football is the most popular sport in the U.S., and they dedicate their whole stadiums and so much funds to hold football gaming events. Our university team had our university had their own team too. As you can see, I don't know that there are probably at least 80 people here. And these are the photos from actual university stadiums during football games. These are not the big stadiums in the US for general football games. No, these are just university stadiums. I'm focusing on this topic because I want you to see how serious they take it. This one is the stadium of the University of Wisconsin, and I think this one is the stadium of the Indiana University in Bloomington. This one is, oh yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Yeah, but anyway, our university at Augsburg had their own stadium too. It's that stadium. It's actually really large. Augsburg was a small university, but compared to its size, its stadium was really big. I'm go I'm repeating this over and over again because I'm really excited about the fact that they take sports so serious at the college level. Yeah, and for reference, these are the teams of Augsburg University athletics. These two in the upper part of the screen, these are the men's and women's soccer team, and on the bottom, these are the basketball teams, men's and women's basketball, and this is ice hockey, and this is men's ice hockey. They actually had like over 20 teams at my university, and note that my university had only like 5,000 students. And for its own size, it's crazy that they have so many student athletes. And as you can see here, these are the screenshots taken from the university website of the Augsburg University, which I attended. They have baseball, basketball, cross country, football, golf, ice hockey, and other sports for men. And then they have separate women's sports. They have wrestling and swimming and others for women too. So they're really diverse there. Um, yeah, this was all for my presentation, and I deliberately saved some time to answer to any extra questions or elaborate on other topics that need extra attention. So if you have any questions, you can ask me now.
Thank you so much, Dilnoza. That was great presentation and interesting. We have some questions. Okay, let me pull. A question from John Yuldoshev. He's asking about the food price. Can you tell a little about the food price as well? How different it is? How different is it than in Uzbekistan?
Um, Actually, I didn't buy much food in the US because when I was there, well, there's something really interesting to mention here. When I was in the US, I was on a special raw vegan diet. So I didn't eat
Mhm.
cooked food at all. I ate only fruits and raw vegetables and juices. So I bought juices and fruits a lot, but I didn't buy McDonald's and let's say meat and other things. So I don't know about the price of them. But what I have paid attention to is entertainment food like fries, chips, soda, and things like that. Non-fresh convenience foods, they're really cheap in the US compared to them in our country. In Uzbekistan, we have fresh organic food like farm grown organic vegetables and fruits we have. They are sort of they're cheap in our country, I guess, but chips and like other chips, soda, and things like that, they're expensive in our country, and it's actually the opposite in the US. Organic fresh food is expensive there, but the things like the convenience foods that are mass produced, actually the fast food in the US, it's really cheap. Also, for their money, food is really cheap in the US. For example, in Uzbekistan, the average salary could be like 2.5 or 3 million Uzbek soums, and for that money, our food is really expensive. There in the US, people earn thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars per year, and the bread is, for example, $100 there. You can buy bread for half a dollar, if not less, from Walmart there. So food is really cheap there compared to us,
Mhm.
if I make
Okay,
sense.
thank you so much. Thanks for the answer. And another comment from Iskandar Sulaimonov, also a UGRAD alumnus. He says, informative
Hi.
presentation. You had a great and unique experience in the US. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another question, and I think also a UGRAD member, Gulnaz Jadigerova. Can we also join and
Hi.
participate in sports festivals? For example, I'm good at volleyball. Is it possible for you graders to become a member?
I don't have any official information about that, but I can provide my own assumptions about it. To join their sports team, you probably need to study there for at least a year because before accepting you into their team, they train you, they test you. You have to play in the reserve roster for some time before being admitted to the main varsity. So that all takes time, but your stay in the US will be only one semester. So it will be technically very hard for you to join their teams to play there. But if you want to just watch the games, get to meet the players, it was free for everyone. I actually had friends. I had a friend from Russia. I had a friend from Russia in Norway. They played in the men's ice hockey team, but they were studying there for at least 1 year. So I think it's about, yeah, that a lot depends on the official regulations of the school athletics management. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What was that best food you tried in the US?
um, yeah, I should remind once more that I ate very few food in the US. I was on a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I love their juices. I was doing an experimental juice fast there, so I tried every single juice available, every single organic juice available there, and I guess I loved their fresh pressed, cold pressed apple juice. We don't really have cold pressed juices here, and they had
Mm-hmm.
a variety of juices, fresh juices there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a juice.
Thank you. Juice. I love juice too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, a question from Akbar Abdurrahmanov. Did you have difficulty finding with halal foods? Is there some apps to find halal food?
Um, Actually, I didn't have any difficulty because the city I lived in, the city of Minneapolis, it's also called Twin Cities. It was
Mm-hmm.
in Minnesota, and Minneapolis had many Muslim population. I actually knew several Muslim students from campus, and because of the large number of Muslim students living in that city, there was demand for halal food, and according to that demand, there was supply. There were many restaurants, stores specifically dedicated to halal food. That's number one. And number two, Augsburg University offers halal food to its students. So if for example, if you go to the university and decide to eat at the university cafeteria, you just go to the manager or any staff member and ask if and where you can find the halal options, and they show you what you can eat there. US is a very diverse culture, so it's not really a problem to find halal food, I guess. At least from my experience, I had access to halal food and actually every sort of food during my stay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What is your favorite sports and why?
My favorite sport? Um, I love martial arts, like karate, things like that. But when it comes to watching, I like watching ice hockey. It's a thrilling experience to watch them. But when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to playing, I think I play chess. I like karate. I don't do it, but I actually play chess. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. Next question from Gulshan Mahmudova. Great presentation, Dilnoza. Have you been involved in any other extracurricular activities in the US that you enjoyed?
Oh yeah, I did. If that counts as extracurricular, I participated in a community service project. So basically, I worked for the university campus kitchen. Every day after the normal day, we would collect fresh food from the kitchen and distribute that to the homeless people, to nurseries, and to the care houses where the elderly homeless people were staying. And during the experience, I met a lot of people who cared about the society, about their community, and the needs of people around them. So I actually enjoyed that very much because there were so many people you could talk to, you could learn about. And besides the
Mhm.
community service, I was actually involved in the student government project. We basically used to talk to students about their problems and go to solve these problems. Besides just studying, I think I've done this for extracurricular activities.
Mhm. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that was the last question. We have some comments like from Guli Jumaeva. Thank you for essential information.
Thank you.
Uh, Thank you for the answer from Gulnaz. Hello, watching from Uzbekistan. Hello, hello.
Right.
Yeah. Can you give us some advice on nutrition, on healthy food? I know that you are keen on that. Any tips on food?
Um, yeah, this is actually something I could talk for hours about. So if you want to eat healthy for health purposes,
Mhm.
you should try to eat less oil, less sugar, which you've probably heard before. But if you want to eat healthy to lose weight, you probably need to integrate more protein and exclude the sugars, including the fruits from your diet. These are the general conceptions. But from my own experience, anyone who wants to eat healthy should eat less. So I think it's not really about the content. Well, it is a lot about the content of what you eat, but it's also a lot about the frequency too. Which that is the reason why fasting is considered so useful. So my advice would be to eat less than 3 times a day. Let's say 2 times a day, skipping the dinner, and not eating snacks between your meals, and not drinking too much, let's say too much soda and other unhealthy beverages during your meals. So that's a lot about the small habits, because it's really hard to go on a hard and harsh diet. You end up breaking it. It's a lot about starting from small steps, like eliminating the extra snacks, eliminating that extra time of snacking from the day, eliminating half of your dinner, and eating less variety of food. Instead of eating like 3 or 4 varieties of food in one setting, you should eat like um, 1 or 2 varieties of food. I've heard that makes it easier for you to digest your food. That's what I personally believe. When I was studying nutrition, I came across to many different ideas from many doctors. What I personally believe in is about the less is more. The less type of food, the less frequency, and less size. So that's probably the formula. It's about
Great point.
eliminating. So not adding, but eliminating.
Mhm.
So
Great
yeah,
points. Thank you.
thank you for asking. That was my favorite topic.
Yeah, it's important topic. And thank you so much for doing this presentation today. I see other comments coming. I think it was a great presentation from Hulam John Yuldashev. And it's time to wrap up. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today, watching, for your great comments. We just got another question. One second. Because live stream goes with a little delay. Can I pull out that question? One second. Number of admission. One second. Tell us the role of grades from Muhammad Amin Mirpulatov. Tell us the role of grades you received at the university. Are they important for admission to UGRAD, or exist other or important requirements for UGRAD, for example, soft skills? Can you see the question, Dilnoza?
No, I don't think I see it. Should I switch to a different window, a different
Yes,
tablet?
you can switch the window so that you will see it.
Oh, so the role of the grades. Oh, yeah. Well, I think grades play a role. For example, if you have more fails than passes, if you have more threes than fives, maybe that will play a role, but that's not the main thing that they will take into consideration. So try to have your grades excellent, because that shows how responsible you are, even though they might not pay much attention to grades. When you and another candidate are competing for one place in UGRAD, and your grades are low and their grade is high, and you don't have any other extra points to support your application, you might be in a disadvantage, because grades actually stand for your sense of responsibility, how serious you take your college experience, how serious you take your major, college life. And if you didn't take your university serious here, they might not know whether you will take education there as well. So it's about a lot about what it means. Also about the soft skills. Um, I think soft skills are more important than the grades, if I have to compare. Both are important, but soft skills are more important, because leadership is a soft skill. Um, Empathy is a soft skill, and there are many other soft skills that not everyone gets to develop enough. So yeah, I think if you care about the people around you, if you try to find the meaning of your life, if you try to work for not just for your own profit, but for the well-being of other people, they're going to value it a lot, especially during the interview. When if you are lucky to be invited to the interview, they're going to test how much you care about people around you, how much you're open to them. So soft skills, for me, soft skills are everything, because many students who apply to the global UGRAD program, they already have excellent English skills, they already have the grades, they already have so much under their belt to show, like certificates, active participation in conferences and stuff like that. Many people are going to have this, but not everyone is going to have the soft skills. So this can be the turning point and the game changer.
Mhm.
So
Thank
if that
you.
makes sense.
Great answer. Thank you so much. We have one more question, and I think that will be the last one from Nargis Khonalieva. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for organizing this live meeting. I'm Nargiza Khonalieva from Karshi, a Fulbright T alumna. And my question is, have you cooked polo for Americans?
Yeah, nice question. Thank you. I don't know how to cook it actually, but a lot of people, actually, people from my cohort who went to different universities, they cooked it for Americans. They actually told me about their experience. I didn't do that because I didn't really eat much food there. But I showed them our traditional clothes, the traditional dress that we wear after the wedding. I don't know. We have traditional dresses in gold and with patterns and stuff like that. Actually, what many people wear after the wedding. I showed them our clothes actually, in short, but not the food. But if you get selected for UGRAD, it's a great idea to cook pulao for Americans. I didn't do that because I didn't know how to. But they are going to be interested in our cuisine, so it's a great idea to do that.
Yeah, that was an interesting question. All right, that was
Yeah.
it. Thank you so much again, and wish you success and all the best, and best of luck in your future endeavors. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you for your questions. Okay, Dilnoza, we'll have to say
Yeah,
goodbye.
thank you, everyone. Oh yeah, thank
And
you
that
for
was
everyone for joining
really
in.
pleasure to.
Yeah, thank
Uh,
you. And if I'm allowed to, there is something I'd like to say to the viewers. If you're here, you're probably dreaming about going to the US. And before being selected for UGRAD, I didn't believe I could do that too. And I think it's pretty real, a possibility for you to go there. Even if you can't win the scholarship, just keep trying, because it's the U.S. government has many scholarships. First of all, try to apply to the UGRAD. Don't be afraid. I was afraid to apply, but my teacher motivated me to apply, and that was the best decision I made. So if you're interested to study abroad, keep working on yourself. You'll Even if your grades are low, even if you think you are not good enough, even if many people tell you that it's not a thing for you, just keep trying, because that's what every single person goes through. So this is something I'm talking from my own experience. So it's not really about how excellent you are, it's a lot about how much you're willing to do it. And I think each people, like every people, has the capacity to become great. If I was selected for UGRAD, you can be too. So just keep trying.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Those are great points. Thank you. Thank you so much. And see everyone on our next alumni talks in 2 weeks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.